Hello and welcome to Ayurveda Insights. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the Panchamahabhutas. So, human beings are said to be the embodiment of the universe. This is because the elements that are responsible for the formation of the whole universe and the constitution of the human being are exactly the same. We are, in fact, made up of the entire cosmos. Ayurveda is deeply integrated into the scientific principles that everything in the macrocosm, in the same way it appears in the microcosm. So, just like all these elements surround us, they are also present in the very cells of the human body and they possess very specific characteristics. These elements are known as the Panchamahabhutas. Pancha meaning five and Maha meaning great. Bhuta means that which is in the process of creation or that which has taken birth. Thus, the Panchamahabhutas are the five greatest elements, namely Akasha, which is ether, Jala, which is water, Agni, which is fire, and Prithvi, which is earth. And the last one is Vayu, which is air. When understanding the elements in the human body, it is subcategorized into dosha, dhatu, and mala. Please see our videos on these concepts so that it can be a little bit more clearer for you. Each Mahabhuta has specialized characteristics that have an effect on the body. Ayurveda has a deep understanding of these complex concepts, and it looks to nature and to the body because they are essentially the same. We are born of the universe and made up of these very same components. Each element is described from the viewpoint of how it is represented in nature and how it reflects in the human body, as well as its presence in food and herbs. Ayurveda describes a particular sense organ and its association with that element. Considering these factors, let us understand each element in great detail.
Now let us look at the element of Akasha or ether. This element has the properties of Sukshma meaning minuteness or subtle, Lagu meaning lightness, Vishada meaning transparency, and Shabda which means having the predominance of sound or hearing. Due to the presence of these properties, Akasha Mahabhuta produces hollowness and lightness. In nature, ether is present in the sky, atmosphere, and space. It occupies all the free space which is infinite. This element is very different from all the others since it cannot be seen, tasted, or perceived. It is the substratum from which all the other elements are formed and it is omnipresent. Akasha is the vacuum or empty space which reflects stillness because it lacks the movement of wind. It is cool because it lacks the heat of fire. It is dry because it lacks the moistness of water. It is light because it lacks the mass of earth element. It is a space that is nowhere, so it is expansive and all-pervasive. It is also the space between the atoms. In human body, it occupies all the empty spaces like ears, intestine, bladder, blood vessels, spaces between the joints, nerve synapses, lungs, etc. The sensory organ associated with this element is the ears. The mechanism of how sound waves travel through outer, middle and inner ear is all the result of Akash Mahabhuta. Akash Mahabhuta is also present in the herbs like patol, ushir, chandan, kutaja, etc. As these herbs restore the Akasha or space in the body and facilitate the smooth flow of body fluids and nutrients. These herbs, when consumed, remove any obstruction that may be present in the various body channels or space in the body, and they restore the normal body function.
The element of Vayu or air has the following properties. Ruksha, which means dryness, Lagu, which means lightness, Vishada, which means non-slimy, and Sparsha, which means the predominance of touch. Due to these properties, Vayu Mahabhuta produces dryness, lightness, transparency, circulation, movement, and respiration. In nature, air is present as wind, motion, or kinetic energy, but this does not totally represent how it's understood in modern physics. This is due to the understanding that air is a mixture of many gases in which hydrogen is closer to Jala Mahabhuta and oxygen, which is closer to Agni Mahabhuta. Vayu is therefore a substance that cannot be seen but can only be experienced by touch. In the human body, the biggest tactile sense organ is the skin. It is the medium by which we experience hot or cold sensations. And Vayu is also present in foods which produce a lot of flatulence in the body, such as chickpeas, peas, potato, and cauliflower. Vayu is also responsible for all actions, thoughts, as well as digestion, speech, blinking, and excretion of waste in the body. The element of Agni or fire has the following properties. Ruksha, which means dryness, Tikshna, which means penetrating, Ushna, which means hot, Vishada, which means non-slimy, Sukshma, which means minuteness, as well as Rupa, which is the predominance in sight. Due to these properties, Agni Mahabhuta produces heat. It is an expression of color and is responsible, it acts as the power of transformation in the body. In nature, fire is represented by the sun and all types of energy in the world, ranging from solar to electric, etc. Agni Mahabhuta is present in foods that produce a lot of heat in the body, such as garlic, chilies, ginger, and black pepper. The heat is also present in the human body in the form of metabolism, body temperature, and enzymes. The eyes are associated with Agni Mahabhuta because it is through this organ that light is perceived. The element of Jala or water has the properties of Drava, which means liquidity, Shita, which means coldness, Guru, which means heaviness, Manda, which means dullness, Sandra, which means thickness, and Rasa, which means that it's predominant in taste. Due to these properties, Jala Mahabhuta bestows lubrication, secretion, moistness, contentment, and cohesion. In nature, water is present as rain. It is in our ponds, lakes, rivers, and oceans. In solid form, it's present as glaciers or ice, and it is also present as steam or vapor in the air. In fruits like cucumbers, wintermelon, and watermelon, Jala Mahabhuta is present in abundance. However, when these kinds of foods are consumed in excess, they can give rise to upper respiratory tract infections. In the human body, the water element is present in all body fluids, starting from the cell matrix, lymph, blood plasma, urine, etc. The tongue plays an important role in this element because the saliva, which is composed primarily of water, mixes with our food, and this allows for easy digestibility and the ability to taste the food that we are eating. Since the tongue is associated with Jala Mahabhuta, it gives rise to the 6 tastes or rasas mentioned in Ayurveda, namely sweet, sour, salty, bitter, astringent, and pungent.
Now let us look at the element of Prithvi or earth. It has the properties of Guru, which means it has mass or weight. Sthula means it is bulky, Sthira means it is stable, and Gandha means it has a particular smell. Due to these properties, this element is imparting heaviness, stability, compactness, and growth. In nature, earth element is represented by mud, sand, stones, mountains, rocks, etc. The largest proportion of this element is seen in human body as bones, teeth, nail and hair. If we have to consider how the characteristic of gandha or smell is present in human body? Well, everyone has a specific odor which we are not able to sense through our perception of smell. But animals like dogs can smell and identify the person simply by their perception of smell. Thus, the sensory organ associated with this element is the nose. Prithvi Mahabhuta is abundantly found in food items like wheat, rice, and herbs like licorice, ashwagandha, etc. As these items, when consumed, increase the body mass. In our next video, we will be looking at how these Panchamahabhutas form the physiological functional units of the human body, which we call as doshas, dhatus and malas. We hope you enjoyed our video and found it insightful. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.